Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're not just looking at a place on a map. We're really setting off on a kind of sensory journey, one that I think will really awaken your senses, maybe spark your imagination a bit. Just take a second, maybe close your eyes, and try to picture this. Imagine the rich, sort of earthy smell of ancient ironwood. Centuries of incense smoke hanging heavy in the air around, say, a temple dedicated to this incredibly powerful dynasty. Okay, now listen, can you hear that? In the distance, there's this solemn, almost wistful chime of a cathedral bell. It's a sound that might make you think of some quiet European village, right? But somehow it fits perfectly here. And then, cutting through all that, you get this unmistakable, completely tantalizing sizzle, you know the one, beef and star anise bubbling away in a huge pot of veal broth. It's a smell that's become famous worldwide, a symbol of Vietnam, but here in this place, it feels like it's coming home. It speaks of deep roots and real, authentic flavor. So the place we're talking about today isn't just a destination. It's someone history isn't just stuck in textbooks. It's like
Right.
performed, it's breathed, it's lived every single day. A continuous story unfolding right now.
That's a fantastic way to frame it. And that place, of course, is Nam. It's a province nestled right in the heart of the Red River Delta. And it really does stand out as, well, a remarkable keeper of Vietnam's foundational traditions. When you really dig into Nam, you find a place where the nation's complex soul is kind of laid bare. It's been profoundly shaped by these overlapping legacies. You've got ancient emperors, dedicated missionaries, incredibly skilled artisans, hardworking farmers, all leaving their mark. So a trip here isn't just tourism, is it? It's more like a pilgrimage into the authentic heart of northern Vietnam. And it reveals this singular capacity for cultural blending, for synthesis, and, just profound resilience.
Yeah, that capacity for synthesis is what I find absolutely captivating too. So, our mission, our goal with this deep dive is to really try and uncover how Nam manages to weave together these forces that, at first glance might seem totally contradictory. We're talking about the incredible imperial power of this celebrated Vietnamese dynasty existing right alongside the enduring faith of European Catholicism. And you've got the deeply indigenous worship of the mother goddess coexisting with, very modern concerns about global ecological preservation. These aren't just things that somehow manage to sit side by side over time. They've actually interwoven. Sometimes they've clashed, no doubt, but ultimately they fuse to create this cultural fabric that's just got this unparalleled richness and complexity.
An incredibly rich tapestry.
So for you listening, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How does just one province manage to hold such diverse histories, such different beliefs, not just tolerating each other, but actually becoming interwoven, forging this resilient, distinct identity that's lasted for centuries? That's the amazing story we're diving into today. A story of deep cultural layering, amazing adaptation, and this fierce, really vibrant preservation of identity.
It is an incredibly rich tapestry, you're right.
Yeah.
And you've really nailed the core of Nam Binh's identity there. It lies in this remarkable ability it has to absorb, adapt, and integrate outside influences, whether they came through conquest or trade or maybe religious conversion. But crucially, while fiercely preserving its own indigenous roots and its unique spirit, it really offers a powerful lesson in cultural resilience, and it's something you see actively demonstrated in its people and, well, right there on its landscape.
Okay, let's start unpacking this fascinating layering then. Let's journey back in time a bit. We're heading to a period that wasn't just, prosperous, but one that truly forged the spirit of the Vietnamese nation, the Chon Dynasty. This era, running from about 1225 to 1400, it's etched into the national memory, not just for political stability, but for one absolutely monumental achievement, repelling three separate, brutal Mongol invasions in the 13th century.
Right.
Just think about that for a moment. Taking on what was arguably the most formidable military empire in history at the time, the forces of Kublai Khan himself, and winning? Not just once, but three times. This wasn't just a series of military victories, was it? It was a defining moment, a cornerstone of Vietnamese national identity, a testament to this incredible, enduring national resilience that you can still feel today.
That's a powerful starting point. And what's particularly intriguing to me about the Tran dynasty, especially given those monumental achievements, their strategic brilliance, is how they chose Num, of all places, to be their spiritual heartland. Now, technically, the Tran king's ancestral birthplace was actually in the next province over, Tai Binh. But Nam became something, well, much more profound for them. It was their first residential area, sure, but crucially, they set up a second administrative center here, the Tien Tron Palace. And this wasn't just some secondary office, it was treated as a sacred space, a revered retreat. The reigning emperors would often come back here to consult with their retired fathers. These were men who, in this quite unique Vietnamese tradition, had abdicated the throne but still held significant moral and political influence.
Ah, okay, so it wasn't just ceremonial.
Not at all. And perhaps most importantly, this is where they paid homage to their ancestors, deeply embedding the imperial lineage into the very fabric of the land itself. This practice really solidified Nam Un's status as the dynasty's sacred center. It ensures that its imperial legacy isn't just stuck behind glass in a museum somewhere. No, it's inscribed right onto the landscape in stone, in timber, and it's vividly reenacted in these vibrant annual rituals that continue right up to today. It makes history feel, well, alive, breathing.
And you can almost physically feel that history when you visit the Tren Temple complex. It's in Loc Vung Ward, right in Nam Định City. And like you said, it's not just one building, it's this cluster, this reverent grouping of 3 distinct temples, and each one tells a vital piece of this grand dynastic story. What really struck me just imagining it was the scale and the incredible solemnity of that ancient Ironwood you mentioned. You start with the Tin Trong Temple. That's the central one, the original heart of the complex. And it's built directly on the foundations of the old Trung Quang Palace, the very place where those retired kings lived and worked and guided the empire.
Exactly. The seat of wisdom, in a way.
Right. And the architecture itself is just incredibly solemn, majestic, built almost entirely from that dark, ancient ironwood, famous for being incredibly dense, durable, kind of a reflection of the dynasty's strength, maybe. It has a traditional tiled roof, a simple brick floor, nothing too ornate but powerful. And as you walk through these halls, you're following this clear path of dynastic hierarchy. The front hall is for the mandarins, the high-ranking officials, the heroes who served the court. Then the middle hall holds the 14 memorial tablets for all the Tren emperors, a direct line of leadership. And the main sanctuary, right at the back, that's the most secret spot, honoring the 4 founding ancestors of the Tren clan and their wives, the absolute bedrock of the dynasty. It really is like walking through a living family tree. Each step feels heavy with centuries of power and reverence.
And then, complementing Tien Trung, you have the Kotrek Temple. This one's dedicated solely to the dynasty's most celebrated military figure, the Grand General Trun Hung Ao, along with his family and his most trusted officers. He's revered, rightly so, as one of Vietnam's greatest military strategists. He's the one credited with figuring out the tactics to beat back the Mongol hordes.
An absolute national hero.
Absolutely. And this temple has a really fascinating origin story, separate from the main royal line. Apparently, back in 1868, workers were digging and made this incredible discovery. A stone stele, like a marker stone, inscribed with words that meant the old house of General Trun Hung Ao. So based on that incredible, almost fated find, they built the temple right there on that spot. It was finally completed in 1895, marking that ground forever as this national hero's ancestral home. It's just a testament to the enduring respect the Vietnamese people have for their historical defenders, isn't it?
It really is, a physical marker of that gratitude. And then to complete the picture of the imperial court, there's the Trung Hoa Temple. This one's more recent, built in 2000. But significantly, it stands on the original foundations of the Trung Hoa Palace. And that place was historically where the emperors held crucial meetings, crucial council, with their predecessors, a site of deep strategic importance.
Right, where the real decisions might have been discussed.
Exactly. And today, it serves as this comprehensive, visually stunning tribute to the entire dynasty. It actually houses 14 magnificent bronze statues depicting each of the 14 Tron emperors. It's a truly impressive sight. And the wings of the temple are thoughtfully dedicated to. Civil officials are honored on the left, representing the sort of intellectual, administrative side of the empire. And then the military officials are on the right, representing the martial strength that protected the nation. So together, these 3 temples give you this complete, deeply immersive portrait of that pivotal imperial court. It really brings that historical period vividly to life.
And what's truly fascinating here, connecting the dots, is how these imperial sites aren't just isolated historical spots. They're complemented by places of profound spiritual enlightenment. It really shows you the interconnectedness of power and faith in Vietnamese culture. Right next to the Tren Temple complex stands Pho Minh Pagoda. This is a site of deep spiritual and architectural significance, and it actually has even older ties to royalty. While its origins technically go back to the earlier Lý dynasty, hinting at really ancient roots, it had a major expansion in 1262 under King Trun Thanh Tong. That transformed it into a key spiritual center for the Tron royal family.
Okay, so it predates the Tren, but they really made it their own.
Precisely. But its most important connection, the one everyone knows, is to King Trun Hun Tong. He's this figure of immense reverence. He's the famous emperor who did something quite remarkable. He abdicated his throne in 1293 to become a Buddhist monk, and then he went on to found the Truc Lam Zen sect, which was Vietnam's very first native school of Zen Buddhism. This act cemented this unique spiritual lineage in Vietnamese history, blending that imperial authority with profound spiritual wisdom. It's quite a story.
Wow, abdicating the throne to become a monk. That's incredible. And the pagoda's most iconic feature, the thing that really sticks with you, that stands like this timeless sentinel, is the Pho Minh Tower. It was put up in 1305, specifically to honor King Trần Nhân Tông after his passing. And this 14-tiered monument is just a true masterpiece of Trần-era architecture and, frankly, engineering. It rises up, 19.51 meters. That's almost 64 feet. Pretty tall for that era. And you can see the distinct craftsmanship that let it survive all this time. Its lower levels are beautifully made from this smooth green stone, giving it a really solid base. And then the 13 upper tiers are meticulously made of baked red wall.
A classic combination.
Exactly. And what's truly incredible is that this tower has somehow survived centuries of war, countless typhoons, probably earthquakes too, and it's still remarkably intact. Its structural integrity apparently is down to this robust interlocking joinery they used. It's just a testament to Trent engineering. So it stands today as this potent symbol, not just of the dynasty's enduring splendor, but also, I think, of the strength of Vietnamese spiritual architecture itself.
Indeed. And the pagoda itself, it really functions as a living museum. It's been designated a special national relic. It's home to recognized national treasures, like this serene, reclining statue of King Trần Nhân Tông in Nirvana, depicting his ultimate spiritual achievement. And there's also a set of statues showing the first 3 patriarchs of the Truc Lam sect. So it ensures the preservation of this unique spiritual heritage and its continued inspiration for, practitioners today. It's a place where history, art, and faith all just converge beautifully.
But as you said before, these aren't just ancient relics gathering dust. This isn't history locked away. What becomes crystal clear when you witness the major festivals at the Trần Temple is that this community isn't just, remembering its past. It's actively, vibrantly engaging with it. They're transforming that historical reverence into this tangible, collective hope for a prosperous future. The legacy of the Trần Kings isn't static. It's this dynamic, living force that continues to shape the spiritual and cultural life of the province right now.
Exactly. It's palpable.
This deep connection to their past is most obvious during 2 key events that really just animate the whole province. The first is the seal opening ceremony, the Lu Khai En. It's held on the 14th night of the first lunar month, so right after Tet, the Lunar New Year. And this tradition actually started from a huge victory celebration held by King Trần Tai Tông way back in 1258. Commemorating the triumph over the first Mongol invasion.
Incredible continuity.
Isn't it? The ceremony itself is really solemn, quite elaborate. It involves this majestic procession carrying a sacred seal from Ko Trak Temple over to Tin Trung Temple. Then, right on the stroke of midnight, after the village elders perform these ancient, really intricate rituals steeped in tradition, they use the sacred seal to stamp these special yellow papers. And let me tell you, thousands of people queue up for hours, often shivering in the cold night air, just hoping to get one of these papers. Owning one is believed to be this tangible token, a physical symbol of luck, success, and prosperity for the whole new year. It's an incredible display of collective faith and this enduring link to their historical triumphs.
And the second major event, equally vibrant, equally significant, is the main Trần Temple Festival. This one's held in the 8th lunar month, and it commemorates the death anniversary of General Trần Hung Ngao. Now, this isn't just a single day of remembrance. It's a week-long spectacular, really. The festival is this rich, vibrant mix of solemn rituals like incense offerings, made with profound respect and incredibly lively cultural activities. The air just fills with the sounds of traditional music. You see the captivating spectacle of dragon dances weaving through the crowds, and there's all the excitement of traditional folk games, things like wrestling, testing strength and skill.
Right.
Human chess, which is this dramatic, almost theatrical performance of strategy, and thrilling boat races along the river. It draws visitors and pilgrims from all across Vietnam, showcasing just how deeply these historical and spiritual roots still run. It really energizes and unites the communities today. What stands out to me is how this isn't just about celebrating history, but about reaffirming their identity through this shared experience year after year.
I find it absolutely fascinating, too. You see this active engagement with the past, not as something distant or academic, but as something that actively contributes to their present and their future. It's an incredibly powerful example of how ancient traditions can continue to energize and, yeah, unite communities today. It's not just history, it's like the very beating heart of their culture.
And if we sort of connect this to the bigger picture, Namdin's spiritual landscape is truly like a physical timeline. It's a living record of all its cultural interactions and transformations over centuries. You literally see the towering Gothic spires of its magnificent cathedrals piercing the very same sky as the traditional, elegantly curved roofs of its ancient pagodas.
That contrast is striking, isn't it?
It really is. And this visual representation, it isn't just an aesthetic curiosity. It's like a profound historical document written directly onto the landscape itself. It tells this compelling story of colonial encounters, of profound religious devotion, but also the steadfast persistence of deep-rooted local traditions. It's a testament to a place that has somehow absorbed multiple spiritual layers without losing its foundational essence.
That's such an insightful way to put it, a historical document written on the landscape. It vividly shows how Nan has absorbed these foreign influences without just erasing its indigenous spiritual foundations. It really demonstrates how cultures can layer upon one another, creating something uniquely vibrant in the process. And long before those grand European-inspired faiths arrived, the Red River Delta was, and still is, home to this indigenous belief system known as Amu. That's the worship of mother goddesses. This faith predates many others, and it's deeply woven into the Vietnamese psyche, into their worldview. And Nam Ninh is actually home to one of the largest and most important centers for this faith in all of Vietnam, the Phu Dati complex out in Vu Bun district. This sprawling complex is profoundly dedicated to Tan Wu Lu Han. She's a celestial princess who, the legend goes, was sent down to the mortal world, experienced human life, and eventually ascended to become one of the four immortals of Vietnamese folk religion.
A very powerful figure.
Immensely. And her worship embodies this distinctly Vietnamese spirit. It represents a deep desire for freedom, compassion, and patriotism. So she's become this powerful symbol of national identity and spiritual strength.
The Phu Duty complex itself is an impressive site, quite expansive. It's this sprawling collection of over 20 intricately designed temples, palaces, shrines, all showcasing that traditional Vietnamese wooden architecture we talked about. And these structures house numerous valuable artifacts, everything from ancient statues to ritual instruments, each telling a piece of the Mother Goddess's story and the development of the faith. And every year during the third lunar month, usually around April, it becomes the vibrant epicenter of the Phu Duy Festival. The entire area just comes alive. It's a sensory overload. You hear the rhythmic sounds of gongs and drums everywhere, see the vibrant colors of ceremonial clothing, feel the sheer energy of tens of thousands of pilgrims coming from all over Vietnam.
Sounds intense.
It is. The festival's key rituals are spectacular sights. There's a solemn, lantern-lit night procession to symbolically invite the goddess for worship. And then there's a dramatic torchlight procession that winds through the whole complex. It's genuinely one of the most significant and visually captivating folk festivals in the entire country. A vibrant, living display of enduring indigenous faith and community spirit.
And then, on the other end of that spiritual spectrum, you find that Nam Ninh is also considered a holy land for Vietnamese Catholics. This history here is quite profound. It was actually one of the very first places in Vietnam where Catholic missionaries, mainly from Spain and France, set up shop as early as the 17th century. And the faith gained this exceptionally strong foothold here, especially during the French colonial period. And it managed to persist through decades of intense oppression during various conflicts. It continues to thrive today with remarkable devotion.
That resilience again.
Exactly. And the visual result is truly striking. A countryside just dotted with hundreds of magnificent churches. If you drive through districts like Xuan Trung or Hai Ho, you can literally see a new church spire every few kilometers. These grand Western Gothic and Baroque spires rising dramatically right above the emerald green rice paddies. It creates this surreal, almost European atmosphere right in the heart of rural Vietnam, an astonishing visual contrast and a powerful testament to the deep roots of Catholicism here.
And among these hundreds of churches, two in particular really stand out as these monumental testaments to that deep-rooted faith, that architectural ambition, and each tells its own unique story of devotion and community.
Okay, so the first big one is the Phu Nai Basilica, also known as the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception. This colossal structure, it's in Xuan Trung district, and it has such a storied, resilient history. The very first wooden church was built here way back in 1866, which shows you how early the faith arrived. But the current magnificent building, the one you see today, that dates back to a 1933 reconstruction. Apparently, a devastating storm completely wiped out its predecessor. And at the time it was completed, its sheer scale made it the largest church in all of Indochina. You know, the term for the French colonial territories of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia back then.
And what's particularly significant here is its recognition by the Vatican itself. In 2008, Pope Benedict XVI elevated it to the distinguished status of a minor basilica. Now, this is a significant honor bestowed by the Pope. It marks it as a church of particular historical or spiritual importance within the Catholic world, often designating it as a major pilgrimage site. So it's a big deal. Its architecture is a breathtaking example of French Gothic style, really reminiscent of European cathedrals. It measures an impressive 80 meters long, 30 meters high, and its 2 bell towers soar up to 44 meters. They house 4 massive bells that were cast in France. The largest one alone weighs 2 tons. You can imagine the sound carrying across the landscape. The grounds also contain these poignant reliefs depicting the 14 stations of the cross, and there's a tomb holding the remains of 83 local martyrs, which makes it a really powerful, quite emotional pilgrimage site for Vietnamese Catholics, a place for deep spiritual reflection and remembrance.
And then we come to Bui Chu Cathedral. And this is a truly compelling story, maybe even complex is the right word. Built in 1885, this cathedral sits right in the heart of the Bui Chu Diocese, which is one of Vietnam's oldest, smallest, but most densely Catholic dioceses, a real testament to its long spiritual history. His original design was quite unique too, apparently a fascinating blend of Spanish Baroque and East Asian architectural motifs, a beautiful reflection of that cultural exchange we've been talking about. But the recent history of this cathedral, and this is where it gets really interesting. It highlights this profound, and let's be honest, often uncomfortable tension between strict architectural heritage preservation and the very real evolving needs of a living, breathing community.
This really brings up an important, almost universal question about what heritage actually is, doesn't it? After 135 years of constant use and, well, decades of minimal maintenance, the historic structure fell into severe disrepair. It became a significant, undeniable safety risk to its congregation, a community that numbers in the tens of thousands. So in 2020, after years of really difficult deliberation, extensive consultations, lots of heartfelt debate, the Council of Priests and the local followers, they made this profound and, yes, controversial decision to dismantle the 135-year-old building.
Wow, that must have been incredibly difficult.
Immensely. Their plan was to make way for a newer, safer construction, but one that would be modeled on the original's unique architectural style. So trying to honor the past while ensuring safety. This whole event, it isn't just some local architectural debate. It's really a microcosm of a global challenge. How do living faiths and communities reconcile their evolving needs with the often static demands of heritage preservation? The decision at Bui Chu offers a stark insight. Sometimes, the true preservation of culture lies not in freezing a moment in time, but in allowing it to live, adapt, and yes, even rebuild, ensuring the spirit endures, even if the original stones change. It forces us to ask, is heritage primarily a monument to be meticulously preserved like a relic? Or is it a living, breathing tradition that has to be allowed to evolve with its people? It's a complex balance, and Bui Chu is just a powerful case study.
It really gives you pause, doesn't it, to imagine the weight of that choice, a community trying to honor both its past and its present safety. It truly makes you think about those incredibly hard choices. How might your community approach such a difficult decision? If you were faced with a similar dilemma, a beloved but decaying historical structure, it's not just about bricks and mortar, is it? It's about the living heartbeat of a community and the future of its faith.
Okay, shifting gears now a little bit. Moving from the grand structures of faith and empire, let's explore Nama's more tangible, maybe more intimate relationship with its environment. Because beyond the profound spiritual life we've talked about, its identity is deeply shaped by the rhythm of the land itself. And we can start with the incredible Xuan Thuy National Park. It's located right at the very mouth of the Red River, where this mighty river finally meets the sea. And this park isn't just a local treasure, it's a site of immense global ecological importance.
It truly is a vital ecological zone. Back in 1989, Xuan Thuy National Park earned the distinction of becoming the very first wetland in all of Southeast Asia to be designated a Ramsar site. Now, for those who might not know, the Ramsar Convention is this international treaty that recognizes wetlands of international importance, particularly for waterfowl habitat, so a major recognition.
The first in Southeast Asia. Wow.
Exactly. And its status was elevated even further in 2004 when UNESCO recognized it as the core area of the Red River Delta Biosphere Reserve, which just highlights its crucial role in regional and global biodiversity. This isn't just a pretty place, it's a critical natural asset.
And when you look at it, it's just this incredible ecosystem, a rich tapestry of intertwining mangrove forests, these vast tidal flats that stretch out for miles, serene lagoons, and this intricate network of canals crisscrossing everything. This diverse habitat supports an astonishing array of life. We're talking over 250 species of birds, more than 500 aquatic species, and over 120 distinct species of plants. It's teeming. Its most crucial role, though, is probably as a vital stopover and wintering ground on the East Asian, Australasian flyway for millions of migratory birds. So from about October to April each year, thousands upon thousands of birds arrive, including several globally endangered species. The park is particularly famous for hosting a significant population of the rare black-faced spoonbill. It's this distinctive, elegant bird that's rightly become the park's sort of iconic symbol.
A beautiful bird.
Absolutely. And visitors can experience this natural wonder in several ways. You can take guided boat tours that navigate deep into the wetlands. You can go bird watching from specially built observation towers that give you these amazing panoramic views. Or you can just walk along the vast dike systems that separate the core conservation zone from the buffer zone. And it's here, in that buffer zone, that local communities really demonstrate this beautiful coexistence. They practice sustainable aquaculture, farming shrimp and clams, totally in harmony with the natural cycles of the estuary. It's a wonderful example of humans managing to thrive alongside nature, not just against it.
That harmony is key.
But the rhythm of the land isn't just about untouched nature, it's also about the soul poured into the hands of its artisans. It feels like a direct extension of the resources the land provides. Naming is proudly called the Land of 100 Trades, and it's a title it's definitely earned. It boasts over 70 traditional craft villages.
And these ancestral skills, they aren't just preserved locally as, quaint traditions. They have a real national level impact reaching far beyond the province itself. These artisans aren't just making local crafts, they are actively building and maintaining the physical manifestations of Vietnamese culture and history that are seen and revered by the entire nation, everything from furniture for homes to huge monuments in city centers. This truly elevates their importance from just local artisans to, national cultural producers. They embody centuries of skill and artistic legacy.
Absolutely. These villages are truly living repositories of ancient knowledge, ancient skill, passing down techniques through generations. It's quite remarkable to witness. Take Lejoin Wood Carving Village, for example. It's an AN district. It has a history stretching back nearly a millennium, tracing its origins right back to the Tren dynasty itself. The artisans there are just true masters of wood. They are renowned for these incredibly intricate carvings, often featuring detailed mythological creatures or historical scenes or auspicious symbols, usually crafted from precious woods like ironwood or jackfruit wood. They also excel in delicate mother-of-pearl inlay, which is this painstaking process where tiny iridescent shell pieces are carefully cut and embedded into lacquered wood. Their work produces traditional furniture like intricately carved lacquered boards, ornate cabinets, ancestral altars, things that adorn homes and temples all across Vietnam. Each piece is this blend of amazing artistic skill and deep cultural narrative.
Beautiful work. And also in Ayen district, you have the Ton Gia Bronze Casting Village. Another incredible place with a 900-year history. It makes it one of the great cradles of Vietnamese bronze casting. It's a craft so revered that legend actually says it was taught to the villagers by the Zen master Nguyen Minh Cong back in the 12th century. Remember him from Pho Minh Pagoda, a figure associated with both spiritual enlightenment and practical skill.
Right. The connection continues.
Exactly. The casting process itself is this dramatic, ancient art form. From painstakingly creating detailed molds out of clay and rice husks, using the lost wax method, to that intense, almost theatrical moment of pouring molten bronze at temperatures near 1500 degrees Celsius into these molds. Now, while they produce countless traditional worship items like bells, gongs, statues for pagodas, their real fame comes from casting some of Vietnam's most iconic national monuments. We're talking about the colossal Dien Bien Phu Victory Monument, commemorating Vietnam's historic triumph, and the magnificent statue of King Ly Tai To that stands proudly right in the heart of Hanoi. It's a
Yeah.
craft that literally sculpts the nation's history.
That's incredible. Casting national monuments.
Yeah.
And then along the banks of the serene Ningka River, you'll find Kochat Silk Reeling Village. This place keeps alive the ancient art of silk reeling. Apparently, during the French colonial period, this village was so renowned for its exceptionally high-quality raw silk that the French actually set up a factory right there. They recognized its vital role in the textile industry.
Smart move.
Yeah. The traditional process is truly a labor of love. It requires immense patience and skill. Workers meticulously boil the silkworm cocoons, and the color of the cocoon, yellow if they ate mulberry leaves, white if they ate cassava leaves, determines the silk's final hue. And then they deftly, patiently pull these impossibly fine filaments onto a spinning wheel. The resulting bundles of raw silk are then hung up on bamboo poles to dry in the sun. It creates this vibrant, shimmering spectacle of color throughout the entire village, a living testament to centuries of tradition and painstaking craftsmanship.
It sounds beautiful.
Namen also has a coastline, about 74 kilometers long, but it's quite distinctive. It's characterized more by authentic local life rather than, say, international mass tourism. Unlike the pristine turquoise waters you might find further south in central Vietnam, the sea here carries the rich sediment from the Red River as it flows into the ocean. So it gives the water this distinctive alluvial, often brownish color. A real testament to the powerful river that shaped this whole delta.
The river's signature.
Exactly. Local beaches like Thien Long are known for having a cooler climate. Apparently, they're uniquely protected from those hot, dry ocean winds, and they offer gentle waves, perfect for local families. Quat Lam is perhaps a simpler, more tranquil beach, but it's famed for its bustling morning seafood markets where the day's fresh catch is sold directly from the fishing boats. It offers this real, unvarnished glimpse into local life and the hardworking spirit of the coastal communities.
But perhaps the most unique tradition connected to this rhythm of the land and its people, one that truly encapsulates Num's blend of practicality and deep-seated belief, is the Vietnam market. This is an extraordinary market. It's held only once a year, on the night of the 7th and the morning of the 8th day of the first lunar month, right after Tet. And this isn't a market driven by typical commerce or price negotiation at all. It's famously known as a market for luck.
That's right. It's driven by this dieting principle, buying luck and selling misfortune. Thousands of people flock here from all over the region to purchase symbolic items, things like agricultural tools, maybe a small plow or a hoe or saplings for their gardens, or even simple antiques. The actual price of the item, honestly, is almost irrelevant. The profound act of buying itself is considered this powerful prayer, a kind of ritualistic investment in a prosperous and fortunate new year. It's a fascinating blend of tradition, superstition, and just deep-seated hope. I heard a story once about a visitor to the Vietnam market who bought this tiny, unassuming hoe not because he needed it for farming, but because some local elder swore it had the best luck in the whole market. And for him, that ritual, that belief, that was the real treasure he bought.
What a great story. And its close proximity to the Fuduki complex, which we talked about earlier as that major center for mother goddess worship, that adds an even deeper spiritual dimension to the market. This blending of everyday commerce with profound faith in a ritualistic context, it feels quintessentially Vietnamese. It truly encapsulates the province's unique cultural layering, where even a simple marketplace becomes this sacred space for the community's hopes and aspirations.
All right, now let's talk about something truly delicious, the cuisine of Nam Dinh. It's such a direct and, frankly, utterly delicious expression of its identity as the heart of the Red River rice paddy civilization. What's so special about its food, I think, is that its most famous dishes aren't based on exotic or imported ingredients. Not at all. They're masterful elevations of the most basic, most abundant resources provided by its fertile landscape. So the region's food is this pure, authentic reflection of its environment and its rich agricultural heritage. It's comfort food that really tells a story.
And that leads us directly to a fascinating and often quite passionate culinary debate, one that sparks friendly arguments across Vietnam, for sure. While Hanoi is globally famous, widely recognized as the capital of Pho, many culinary historians, and certainly local Nam Dinh residents, put forth this really intriguing argument that Vietnam's national dish was actually born right here in Nam Dinh.
Okay, the plot thickens.
Doesn't it? And Pho Nam, it has this distinct character, this robust soul that genuinely sets it apart from its perhaps more famous Hanoi cousin.
Oh, it absolutely does. I mean, you can taste the history in every single spoonful. Its broth is distinctly heartier, much more robustly flavored, and you'll often notice this slightly oilier, glistening film on top, which is a delicious sign, by the way. It means it's been simmered for hours and hours with marrow-rich beef bones, extracting every last bit of flavor. But here's the key differentiator, maybe the secret ingredient. There's a more pronounced use of high-quality fish sauce in the broth. That gives it this deeper, more profound umami flavor compared to the clearer, more delicately spiced broth you often find in Hanoi.
That fish sauce kick is crucial.
It really is. And the accompanying herbs are also tellingly different. Where Hanoi pho typically uses maybe spearmint or Thai basil, Nam pho is famously served with ngo gai, which is saw leaf herb, or culantro. And that adds this unique, sharp, almost citrusy note to the dish. It cuts through the richness beautifully. It's a regional accent that truly makes it distinctive.
It's a subtle, yet really significant difference that genuinely defines the regional variation. And like you say, this isn't just a matter of preference. It speaks to the very specific local ingredients and flavor profiles that developed over generations in Nam Dinh. It makes their claim to pho's origin feel quite compelling, actually.
Have you ever had the chance to taste the difference side by side? Pho from Nam versus pho from Hanoi. It's like comparing two dialects of the same beautiful language, isn't it? It really makes you think about how these subtle regional variations in ingredients, techniques, even just a single herb can completely define a national dish and reshape your entire culinary experience. But Nam's culinary landscape is rich with other unique specialties too. Dishes that are an absolute must-try for any visitor. Things that really showcase the ingenuity of the Delta region.
Definitely more than just food.
For sure. First up, there's bunagia. Literally chopstick noodles. This is a hyper-local dish, uniquely named because its noodles are as thick as, well, chopsticks. They're made from this special blend of rice and tapioca flour, which gives them this wonderfully soft yet delightfully chewy texture that just doesn't turn mushy even when it's sitting in hot broth. It's quite clever. And it's typically served in this light, sweet broth made from freshwater field crabs, a real bounty from the local rice paddies. And it's beautifully topped with vibrant golden crab roe and seasonal greens like freshwater spinach or maybe some crisp celery. It's just a comforting, flavorful, and incredibly satisfying dish that feels deeply connected to the land.
Sounds delicious. Simple but perfect.
Exactly. And then from Jiaoti district, we have Nem Num Jiaoti, or Jiaoti pressed pork. Now, this savory delicacy apparently has a history stretching right back to the Trun Kings themselves, and it's a perennial favorite among locals, especially, I hear, when paired with a refreshing cold beer.
Ah, the classic pairing.
Right. It consists of finely minced fresh pork and these paper-thin strands of cooked pork skin, all meticulously bound together with thin, that's fragrant roasted rice powder, which adds this wonderfully nutty, earthy aroma. It's seasoned with premium sa chow fish sauce, another local specialty, and then it's carefully pressed into a firm ball, or num. It's a truly unique taste of the region, embodying local ingredients and these ancient preservation techniques. A real Namen original. #tagged outro.
So as we bring this deep dive to a close, it's abundantly clear, isn't it? Nam is far more than just a province on a map. It is a truly multifaceted cultural jewel. It's an imperial heartland that not only forged a nation's spirit, but continues to animate it with these vibrant, living festivals. It's a crucible of faiths where indigenous goddesses and grand European-inspired cathedrals don't just coexist, but sometimes blend, sometimes stand in stark contrast, yet always contribute to this richer spiritual landscape. It is a vital haven for nature, recognized globally for its ecological importance, its role in protecting migratory birds along that flyway. It's a treasury of crafts where these ancient skills are elevated to national significance, literally building the physical fabric of Vietnam, as you said. And, as we've just tasted, it's a culinary pioneer that may very well be the birthplace of Vietnam's most iconic dish. It truly embodies resilience and this remarkable capacity for synthesis, for weaving things together. Nam ultimately shows us how cultures can gracefully absorb and adapt foreign influences, from military threats to new religions, while fiercely preserving their indigenous roots. The result is an identity that is both complex, profoundly authentic, and, well, endlessly fascinating.
Absolutely. And this journey through Nam, it really invites us to ponder something that extends far beyond this particular deep dive, doesn't it? As we've seen how Nam so gracefully weaves together such disparate elements, the echoes of ancient empires, the profound impact of colonial influences, the beauty of indigenous spiritual practices, the modern challenges of ecological preservation, it truly invites us to ponder. What forgotten layers of history and culture might be shaping the places you call home, just waiting to be uncovered. It's a powerful reminder, I think, that history isn't just confined to textbooks or distant lands. It's all around us, often in unexpected, intricate, and yes, sometimes even delicious ways. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating stories that shape our world.